Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to our series. This is Lenka and Doug, and we are here once again bringing you some very important information. So what we've been trying to do is create these short videos. We are trying to fit below 10 minutes to bring you important information so you can start connecting the dots and realize that something is not quite right, that something is going on and you just possibly cannot put your hands on it. And so that's the purpose what we are doing. So today's subject of discussion is we have this special society which is called the legal society. It's a special club, and we the people are not.
There's this idea being pushed that only a select few are smart enough to belong to some exclusive inner circle, as if access is locked behind secret codes or hidden intelligence tests. That framing just doesn't hold up in the real world, especially when it comes to the legal profession. What makes this situation ironic is the belief that the legal field is some mysterious, sealed-off society that outsiders can never enter. In reality, the path is public, structured, and the same for everyone. There are no shortcuts, but there are also no secret doors that if Lenka genuinely wanted to become a lawyer, the process is straightforward, even if it's demanding. She would need to return to school, complete the required education, pass the exams, and put in the work like every other attorney before her. That's not exclusion, it's accountability and professional standards.
All right, what I'm talking about is the Bar Association, which created this legal society. What the bar stands for is British Accredited Registrar or Agency.
No, Lenka, the term the bar does not stand for British Accredited Registry. That explanation isn't grounded in legal history and doesn't reflect how the term actually developed. It's not an acronym at all, and presenting it as one only adds confusion in legal terms. The bar is a metonym, not a shortened phrase. It refers to a real, physical feature that once existed in traditional English courtrooms. This wasn't symbolic language at first, it was literal courtroom architecture. The bar was an actual barrier separating different areas of the courtroom. Only trained and qualified legal advocates were permitted to pass beyond it and address the court directly. Everyone else remained on the public side. Over time, that physical boundary became a linguistic stand-in for the legal profession itself. So when we talk about being admitted to the bar today, we're referencing that historical distinction. It signifies formal qualification, professional responsibility, and the authority to practice law, not membership in a secret organization or registry.
And it's a club where they entice these young people who want to study law. But when you go into this special club, you are not studying the law. You are studying the processes and the statutes and codes which are to derail people and strip people of their constitutionally secured rights. You see, very important thing to remember is that your rights do not come from another man or woman. They do not come from some agency. They do not come from your governor or your health officer or your professor or your teacher. They come from your creator.
This is one of those arguments that completely falls apart the moment you examine it closely. The idea suggests that rights depend entirely on individual belief systems, which would mean everyone operates under a different legal reality. That simply isn't how law or society can function. That if personal beliefs alone determined rights, then one person's creator could grant permissions that directly contradict another's. Taken to its logical extreme, that would mean rights change based on whichever belief system someone chooses to follow at the moment. Law cannot survive under that kind of inconsistency. For example, imagine a belief system that claims only its followers may own land, while everyone else is excluded by religious doctrine. If courts accepted that logic, legal rights would be unstable, unequal, and impossible to enforce. Property ownership, citizenship, and basic freedoms would shift based on theology rather than law. That's exactly why modern legal systems ground rights in shared legal frameworks, not personal belief structures. Rights are protected because they apply equally, regardless of faith, philosophy, or worldview. Without that common foundation, the concept of equal protection under the law would collapse entirely.
Yeah, the Bar Association came in and usurped our government. If you look everywhere in our government, in corporations, wherever you look, you've got a lawyer either chasing an ambulance or you've got to go ask some kind of permission from them to do something. A corporation doesn't put out a product, it doesn't make a move without talking to its group of lawyers, its legal department, okay? The senators, most of them are attorneys, and they're barred from holding office because that's a title of nobility, but they do it anyway.
That is honestly a very poor way to begin, and it shows a basic misunderstanding of how government roles actually work. Government officials do not hold titles of nobility, and comparing them to nobles is simply incorrect. Nobility titles are usually inherited through family lines or granted by a monarch, which is a completely different system that, in contrast, nearly all government officials earn their positions through elections or formal appointments based on law. From the President of the United States all the way down to local city council members, these roles exist because citizens' vote or legal processes place them there. This structure is designed to represent the public, not to create a ruling class. Mixing up these two systems only weakens the argument and makes it clear that the speaker does not fully understand how modern democratic government functions.
So we've been taken over by a bunch of lawyers. And now you look around and you see all this communism crap, right? Coming into us from all directions. Well, check this out. There's, I got it right here in my notes. The Bar Association was declared by Congress as the legal bulwark of the Communist Party, okay?
Wow. Say it again, Dad. From where?
Congress declared the Bar Association to be the legal bulwark of the Communist Party. See Union Calendar number 10.
If your advice doesn't begin with a clear warning about making permanent, life-changing mistakes, then it's hard to take it seriously. Satan choices, especially ones that can't be undone, deserve to be addressed right from the start. Ignoring that reality shows a lack of common sense and foresight. Some decisions follow a person forever and affect how they are viewed in everyday life, work, and even legal situations. That's why guidance should focus on responsibility first, not skip over the obvious consequences. When basic judgment is missing, the message loses credibility fast.
Guys, I want you to digest this, okay? The Communist Party, all right? So the Communist Party has been here since when?
Oh, since the 1800s.
Since 1800s, people. Make a notice. And this happened when Abraham Lincoln actually took an office because he was a bar member. I want you all know that he tried 5 times to take the office as president.
That statement is incorrect once again, and the historical record makes that clear. Abraham Lincoln ran for president twice, in 1860 and again in 1864, and he won both elections. Those are the only 2 successful presidential campaigns he ever completed. Earlier than that, in 1856, he tried to secure a spot as a vice presidential candidate, but he didn't even make it onto the ballot. That attempt never advanced to a full national run. So even if someone stretches the math and counts every attempt, the total still comes to 3, not 5. When discussing history, accuracy matters. Inflating numbers or ignoring context only weakens the argument and makes the conclusion unreliable.
It wasn't until the international banksters supported him and invested, I believe it was $5 or $7 million.
$7 million.
$7 million back then in 1861, so he could actually become a president as a bar attorney to nicely sneak England back into power in America. So think about it.
I try not to get frustrated, especially when the claims are completely false. None of it is true. Lincoln was not collaborating with Britain to regain any kind of power. That's simply a made-up story. Passing the bar exam does not mean you are accredited by Britain, no matter what anyone claims. And on a lighter note, eating crayons, even fancy gourmet ones, is not a healthy or reliable source of nutrition, no matter how many you try. Facts and common sense matter, and it's important to separate truth from nonsense.
We have Declaration of Independence, 1776. We have all these brave men to fight for our freedom, to declare themselves free from the reign of the British King, King George, right? Only few years later, 1861 to be back in what we just liberated ourselves from. It's mind-blowing. It's really mind-blowing.
I hate to be the one to break it to you, but you don't have the qualifications needed to be considered for this at all. Simply put, you're missing the basic requirements to even be evaluated before anyone can be mined or assessed for something like this. There are essential skills and knowledge that must be in place. Skipping those steps means you can't move forward, no matter how eager you are. It's important to recognize the foundation first before attempting anything more advanced.
Anybody can go look at this. If you look at the Union Calendar number 1078 and 81st Congress Second Session House Report number 3123, you'll see where they were considered the bulwark of the Communist Party.
Hey guys, post-editing skeptic here, and I completely forgot to cover this part and why exactly this guy is wrong. The document he's referring to is Union Calendar number 1078, titled Report on the National Lawyers Guild, the legal bulwark of the Communist Party. So that's the first place he's getting it wrong. They're not talking about the Bar Association, they're referring to the National Lawyers Guild. And if we go to page 6, in the document that he is citing, it reads, not only has the behavior of guild attorneys been noted officially by several federal judges, but the American Bar Association in 1949 received from its Board of Governors a recommendation that the American Bar Association bar from membership any person holding membership in the National Lawyers Guild. Literally, the reason that Karen and Doug are telling you that you should hate the American Bar Association is the exact reason the American Bar Association won't let in members of the National Lawyers Guild. So now I have to ask you, the viewer, are these two lying intentionally, or are they just too stupid to know the truth?
With an atheist and communist membership who prey upon the ignorance of the public trustees.
You know what, Doug, this makes perfect sense, because I came from communist country. I immigrated to America some 30 years ago, and I don't only know communism, I lived through it.
If you experienced life under communism and truly understand its effects, and then chose to leave it behind, why would you want to try bringing in a nacho-communist system to the most anti-communist country in the world? It doesn't make sense to advocate for a system you've already seen fail, especially in a place that has built its laws and culture around opposing it. Trying to impose such ideas in that environment is not only impractical, it ignores history and the lessons learned from real-world experience.
20 years, right? And so I came to America for the freedom and for the personal liberty. And first it was great. But it took me only a few short years, maybe like 4 or 5 years, and I started to realize that something is not right. It feels the same way what I just escaped. And so for me personally, I started to dig. And that's what got me on this path of 20 years of studying and realizing the communists have already been here.
Yeah.
And they've been trying to take over the whole globe, the whole world. And here you guys have it. So I want you to realize something very, very important, right? Just imagine we have these amazing public schools, right? That teach you all this knowledge, all this information, right? There's a reason they want mothers to be working so the children go into these public schools very early on, right? Why?
I don't know. Maybe the goal is to help people avoid ending up in the same position you and Doug are in now. A lack of education and understanding tends to show, especially when the content being produced is poorly informed. When videos are made without proper research or basic knowledge, the result is confusion rather than insight. Creating material in poor conditions doesn't strengthen the message either. It only highlights the absence of preparation and credibility. If the aim is to be taken seriously, learning first and presenting accurate information would go a long way.
So they can indoctrinate us from very early age. Can you imagine that these public schools, right, would actually teach our kids and us and all the generations about our rights? That our rights do not come from another man or woman or some agency or health officer or a governor or police officer, but they come from our Creator, and that they are secured to us by the supreme law of the land called the Constitution, that was not created for us, but for them. For them. the public servants,
Yeah,
right?
to limit their power.
To limit their power, which comes from us, we the people, right? So think about it.
What are you even saying? In the United States, anyone can choose to represent themselves in court. That's called going pro se. While it's almost always smarter to hire a lawyer, nothing legally prevents a capable person from handling their own case. This right applies across the board, from local courts all the way up to the highest courts in the country. A competent individual has the freedom to speak for themselves, present evidence, and make their own arguments if they understand the process. Knowing your rights and options is key, even if most people benefit from professional legal guidance.
Your rights come from your creator. The moment you are born, the moment you come to this life. And these rights cannot be taken away from you unless you give them away. And that's exactly what this private special club called the Legal Society have done. They literally trapped you into their system by your voluntary compliance, by your ignorance, because they don't want you to know what's going on, right?
Again, attorneys are strongly recommended because representing yourself in legal matters is usually not in your best interest. Let me give you a simple example anyone can understand. Imagine you win a contest that gives you the chance to throw a baseball into a target 100 feet away. You have two options. You can do it yourself, or you can let a world-class baseball player take the shot for you. Most people would choose the expert because it greatly increases the chance of success. The point is the same with legal cases. While you can represent yourself, having an experienced professional dramatically improves your odds of achieving the outcome you want. It's about giving yourself the best possible advantage.
Trying to run for these offices, right? To serve, right? And look at them. Look at them. Look what they've done for the past 2 years. It cannot be more obvious, right? But these guys have been happening actually for some 160 years?
Yeah, 160 years.
Since this bar association took over our country, right? And now, whenever you have a legal problem, what do they tell you? Oh, you need to get an attorney. Whenever you go to court, right? Oh my gosh, they will insist, they will push these attorneys on you. Why? Because they work for them.
It seems clear that Santa wasn't happy with the prison sentence he received back in the 1980s. But in any society, we all have responsibilities, and those responsibilities are fulfilled by acting in ways that benefit others. That antisocial behavior, on the other hand, comes with consequences. Society enforces rules to discourage actions that harm others. This system of rewards and penalties is what keeps communities functioning smoothly. Simply put, contributing positively helps everyone, while negative actions are addressed to maintain order and fairness.
They don't work for you. They work for the system, for the legal society that's stripping you literally in daylight of your rights.
Yep. Not just stripping you, they've robbed you of your heritage from birth through semantic deceit, through the birth certificate and the civil registry, which is through the United Nations in the 1947 Bar Treaty. The bar was hired to protect the United Nations and run their businesses for them. So what you've got is a top-down conspiracy to treat you like chattel and hold you to conduct credits by their bylaws that you haven't signed up for. And that's all it is, bills of attainder and bills of pains and penalties that are placed against you in violation of your rights to take money from you or take your time for what they believe is conduct credits. You did some conduct that they didn't like, so they're going to make you pay for it, and they're going to credit you because now you owe a debt to society according to them.
Wait, what just happened? Did the video really just end like that? Take note of that. It's a little unexpected. Alright everyone, that's it for today's video. Apparently, one of Santa's helpers wandered across the top of the camera and accidentally shut it off. No worries, though. Lenka went back, cleared all the technical issues, and re-recorded this section. If you want to watch the full, corrected version, there's a link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. If not, a dislike is fine too, but don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. And be sure to subscribe with notifications turned on so you never miss any of my content. I'm Team Skeptic, and I'll catch you in the next one.
So, it's a big game that they're playing, that they've got you trapped in this fishbowl, and they're not wanting to let you out. but there's ways of getting out of this fishbowl and holding them liable. Like the 1879 Constitution of California was repealed November 8th, 1960. The Bar Association was created by Article 6, Section 9 of that Constitution. That means that the Bar Association was repealed November 8th, 1962.
Take a notice. Take a notice of that.
That means that
Take a notice. Take a notice of that.
That means that there